This is VE3 HDB again, and I just came back yesterday from the Milton Ham Fest, and here are a couple of the things I picked up for under 50 bucks. I took 50 bucks with me, and I came back with just about everything I was looking for. The main thing I wanted to get was in the middle was a high voltage variable capacitor for my loop. And in case you haven't seen my loop, here it is here. Basically, it's a hunk of RG8X, a variable capacitor. The switch here was for a capacitor, which I could switch in and switch out. This little capacitor here, but sorry about that, my TS50 surged, and this capacitor no longer functions. I'm sure you can see the burn mark. Anyways, it's 400 or 750 picofarad, I think. I'll have to check on that. Anyways, so this no longer works, but the loop itself works. Basically, all that did was switch in a capacitor, which basically, when you put a capacitor in parallel with a capacitor, it increases the capacitance of the network, and that would allow me to go to 40 meters. Oh well, so this now, as it stands, is a beautiful little, let's see, I think it does 20 meters for sure, and it'll do 18 or 17 meters, and I think it'll also do 15 meters. Sorry about the fingers. So basically I've got a 15, 17, and 20 meter, and maybe 30 meters. When I get the capacitor replaced, I can switch in the 750 picofarad, and it'll then do 40 meters as well. It's completely homemade with scrounged parts. The only thing I had to buy was the capacitor, which I got on eBay. So I'm building another one now with this capacitor, which is a nice one. Picked it up for about $45 Canadian. A little stiff though, but that's okay. I can probably back off the set screw here, make it a little easier to tune, or I may just leave it. And I got this nice heavy-duty tripod. I got it for, I think, $5 or $10, because the other piece that's supposed to go in here is missing. So that's going to come off one way or the other. And then I'll just use it for support for my any one of my projects, which would be I can use it with my loop. I can use it with my 40 meter and 20 meter ham sticks. That's something I want to try out this summer before the summer goes, is to actually what I want to do with this is mount these on a painter pole. I want to pick up another 40 meter ham stick, and there's a bracket you can get, and you put one ham stick one direction and the other ham stick the other direction, and you have a rotatable dipole. So that's a project. A friend of mine's going to lend me a Windham. I want to try that as well. But today's project is going to be the construction of a loop using my new capacitor there. So here's the mast. And good old zip ties, and I'll be connecting that up. Hope I'm going to have room to do all that. But anyways, that's going to be the capacitor. I'll figure something out. And then I'll Got another hunk of coax from my original loop I built years ago, or well, last year. RG8U again. I mean RG8X. It's pretty flexible though, as you can see. And it's not suitable for mounting on its own, even if you use a crossbar. But that's what this is for. Oops. I'm back here. So there's the other part of the whip, similar to this guy. So I just got to figure out how I'm going to do this. But first I've got to modify my tripod so I can mount something to it. And once I figure that out, I'll come back and show you the results. So this is VE3 HTB. Bye-bye for now. Put this together in about an hour, and I'm really happy with it. It's giving me 40 meters now without any secondary capacitors. So I lost 17 meters and 15 meters. Well, I really never did get 15, but I lost 15 meters, and 20 meters is real touchy to tune. But so basically I get 20, 30, 40 now. But the good news is I can push it all the way up to 100 watts without any arc overs. You don't want to touch any part of the antenna system when you're transmitting that much power, by the way. Just trying to move the tripod, I found that out. There's a little RF burn. But if you don't get the RF burn, then you're not playing with your radio properly. So there's the project for this weekend completed. Seems to be working really good. Haven't had a chance to make any contacts on it yet, as the bands are pretty flat again tonight. But there's usually a little opening around 8 o'clock, so we'll try it at around that time, and hopefully at that time we'll be able to hear some contacts on it. But I'm quite happy with it. I still want to get some... I want to put it in a box and get it out of the weather. And but for now, the way it sits is pretty good. And I guess I'll want to isolate it. But the neat thing now is I can try something I've wanted to do for a while after watching a video by VK3YE where he put two loops together and increase the field strength, and therefore most likely the dB's out. So maybe if I can get that working, I'm going to review his video again and get the spacing, and then maybe we can start using the original loop. We'll call that version 1. So this is version 1.5. And this we'll call 2.0. The other thing is I want to pick up some toroids and eliminate the little loop at the top there. A friend of mine at the Ham Fest pointed out a guy that had a loop there, and he feeds his with a toroid. So I'm going to call him up and find out the particulars on feeding it with a toroid, and get that inside a box, maybe isolated from the tripod. Oh, and the tripod I picked up at the Ham Fest is excellent. It's really heavy duty and really heavy. So I'm hoping that means it won't be so prone to blow over. Although the little version 1.0, 1.5 didn't blow over, just the camera did. And that was a pretty cheap tripod. Hardly any weight to it at all. So we'll check in with you later when I've had a chance to do a field test with this and find out what kind of signal reports we can get with her. I imagine with 100 watts it shouldn't be bad. So 73's from Dave Shack. This is VE3 HTB. I hope we'll catch you on the air. This is a bonus video to the two videos I just shot regarding my new acquisition from the Ham Fest in Milton. I completed, as in the last video you saw, I completed my loop, and it's performing wonderfully. I haven't made a contact yet. but the bands are pretty meager today, so I thought I'd do something I've been wanting to do because I now have two loops. I just need to get another one of these, but then I thought, no, I won't do this, the other one that way. What I'll do is I'll feed it with a toroid. One of these, only smaller, and do a couple turns around that, and then you hook your coax to that, and you can do away with this. So that's going to be a project for sometime later this coming week. But what I wanted to do was show you something that I've been wanting to experiment with, and to my surprise, it actually works. So bear with me for a minute. There's a nice strong shortwave station. That's my loop. Okay, what I wanted to do is introduce a secondary. See it now? No? Okay. I'm going to take this loop, the secondary loop, and we're going to see what happens when I put it in close proximity to my other loop. This loop is not attached to my radio at all. I've heard that the ultimate set is 57 centimeters. You should put your primary loop a little bit higher than its resonant point. It's about 55 centimeters, just about right. First thing I want to see is what happens when I tune. Maybe that's a little too strong. Okay, there it is with whatever amount of attenuation of this radio. I'm going to turn on the attenuator. Okay, now I'm tuning the parasitic loop here. It's not attached to the radio in any way except magnetically. Pretty nice and all. So it actually is affecting the other loop. So let's try tuning the other loop a bit. Now, this is more or less a tuned circuit now. I don't have this thing set for 40 meters for the last one as I showed you the first video, but it still works. Now, what I want to do next is set it up so you can actually see how it works on transmit. So let me just it's a little more power than I want to use for this experiment. Yeah, let's do about 6 watts should be just fine. Okay. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is tune up the main antenna and move away so that we have one single antenna. Okay, so the magnetic loop 1.0 is out of the equation. And we'll tune in 2.0. Wow, it's very quiet. Okay, and we will transmit. Okay, that's not too bad. Okay. I wish you could focus. Oh, there we go, better. All right, you can see the SWR is pretty good. It looks to be about 1.5 to 1, which is quite usable. Now let's bring another loop into the picture. Squeeze this in here. Look at the effect it had. Look at the effect that, whoops, sorry about that. Look at the effect bringing the second loop into the picture has. Okay. Oh, darn. There we go. Okay. Now I'm not adjusting the main loop, I'm adjusting the parasitic loop. You see that we now have not a bad SW. Let's see if I can. You see, this one's tough to adjust, which is one of the reasons I thought I'd do this little experiment. There we go. Back to the parasitic. Okay, so now we have two loops in the picture. Now I'm going to tune the primary loop up a little bit. Bring the SWR up to there. See if we can bring it back down with the paralytic. Oh yeah, whoops. Oh, look at that. An even better match. Bring it up a bit more. By golly, we're almost down to 1-to-1. Whoop. You see how touchy this big capacitor is? There we go. That's with two loops, and you saw earlier in the video. And we're getting a nice I'm not very good with an automatic key. It's tend to bend a little bit. So it would be better if it was like that. But it's just touching it. So this will be VE3H2B Dave and Scarlett, 73s, and thank you for watching. If you'd like to leave a comment, it's down there, and I'd really appreciate it if you'd give me a thumbs up.